above us, a lot of lemons hang from the branches there. Man, I should have brought my long stick, right? Man. Making some good lemonade. Aside from this lemon tree, we also have an avocado, a papaya, an orange. There's a mango tree. There's also a lot of loquats and bananas throughout the Riverwalk as well. Alright, now as we pass up this footbridge, start taking a look here to my right, you'll notice an 8-foot-bronze statue. Yeah, this statue here to my right is of St. Anthony the Padre. He's a patron saint of lost items and of little children, born in the country of Portugal during the 12th century.
Couldn't get a picture.
So it's very obvious to see how San Antonio is named after St. Anthony, and well, this is how it happened. You see, it was on the 13th of June, 1691, when the Spaniards settled this area. That happened to be the feast day of St. Anthony, so it was very appropriate to name this place San Antonio. But before this river was known as San Antonio, it had a different name before it. That name was Yanaguana. Now, Yanaguana was a Payaya Indian dialect, which means place of clear water. Taking a look to my right over the trees, you notice a church steeple. Now, the church steeple over the trees there to my right, it belongs to St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Now, the church up there was built in 1868 by the German population. A lot of people don't realize when they come visit this city that it was founded by many diverse cultures, among them the Germans. At that time, they even had the street signs in 3 different languages, English, Spanish, and German. So right now, that church, it's surrounded on 3 sides by the River Center Mall, but the real nice thing about it is that they're open to the public, and on every 4th Sunday of the month, there is a choir that sings their hymns in German. Coming up on the street here on my right-hand side, you see a very big iron sculpture. It's big, it's orange. It's known as the Torch of Friendship. It kind of resembles a torch. It was done by a Mexican artist, internationally known as Sebastian. Him, along with the Mexican government, given as a gift to the city, which symbolizes the friendship that we have. It's very new. It was erected back in June of 2002. Stands at 65 feet high, weighs at approximately 45 tons. It was assembled in sections. So we're now exiting this man-made part of the Riverwalk. We're taking a left turn going into the natural part, the horseshoe area. I'd also like to point out a very unique hotel as we pass up this footbridge. Look way up here on my left, and you'll see this hotel I'm going to talk about. It's called the Hilton Palacio de Arriba. Now, the reason I say this hotel is unique is because it can be found in the old Guinness Book of World Record as being the largest. The biggest hotel of its size to be constructed in the shortest amount of days. So you see the Hilton Hotel, it has 500 rooms, it stands 21 stories. And that hotel there was constructed in a record time of 202 working days back in 1968. It's very quick construction, works like 7 months, give or take a couple of days. Now, the way they constructed the Hilton Hotel is by Homo Modular construction, that's what it's known as, and this is how the story goes. Now you see the first 4 floors of that hotel were built around sites as a type of foundation to the 5th floors on it. So all the box cubicle rooms you see up there were about 8 miles south of here in an assembly line fashion. Each room was even prefabricated and furnished right down the ground. So that means that they already had the linens on the beds, towel was on the racks, even the soaps in a dish. After that was done, he just put those rooms on flatbed trucks, hauled them into San Antonio. And once they got here, there's 2 cranes, one on each side of the building. They got those rooms and they started stacking one on top of another real quick, just like Lego blocks. Once they finished up, the utility workers came back in, connected the utilities, and they held in the hotel. It just opened up 2 days before the World's Fair of '68. Modular construction, 202 working days. I like to call it the Lego Hotel. Yeah, just like Lego blocks, right? So up ahead, we're going to be entering into the Arneson River Theater. It's an open-air theater. The river separates the audience from the stage. So the audience is sitting on the grassy steps here to my left, stage is to my right. Now above the stage here to my right are 5 bronze bells. So those 5 bells above the stage, they represent the missions here in San Antonio. And they're also placed here to honor Robert Hutman. He was the architect and the designer of this Riverwalk. Construction began 1939 and finished up 2 years later. So we're looking at 74 years of the Riverwalk and its development. And I say development because every year they're always doing a little something here and there just to make the Riverwalk a little more enjoyable. Alright, now the building that's coming up here on my right hand side, the one behind a big cypress tree, was built back in 1930. At that time, it was the public main library. Later became the Hertzberg Circus Museum in '68. And it was recently renovated, restored. It's now open as a Western Arts Museum. It's called the Dolph Briscoe Western Arts Museum. Mr. Briscoe, he used to be the Texas governor back in the 70s. Yeah, it's really nice, the efforts they put into beautifying the Riverwalk year after year. It's also a really low bridge coming up here. I'm gonna have to duck my head on this one here. Yeah, give me a quick second. Yeah, good thing I remember. Sure would have been driving. On my back. Now there's also a little island on the river. It's coming up here on my right hand side where the really big cypress tree is at. It's called Marriage Island, because of the many weddings that take place there. Now they do say it brings your marriage good luck if you're to get married right down that little island. It's very popular. It averages a little over 300 weddings in 1 year. It's a very popular place to get married right down that little island. Alright, now the hotel that's coming up here on my right hand side is called the Westin Hotel. It opened up in the month of November 1999. So this hotel has 474 rooms, stands 14 stories high. And in the inside of this hotel, they do have decorations that come from a 17th century castle in Europe. It's very beautiful. The building coming up here on my left-hand side, the one with the U.S. flag on the top, it's called the Tower Light Building, constructed 1929. Back then it was known as the Smith & Young Tower, so it stands 404 feet high. And if you look way up there, you'll see stone gargoyles coming out of the corners of the building right there. See that? And the gargoyles, they do actually bring spouts. When it rains, the water, it flows right out of their mouths. And it gives that cascade waterfall action, so it does that for 2 levels. Bless you. Also part of the neo-Gothic spirit of type of design to the building here on my left are those ugly faces right above the tree. Yeah, I see those ugly faces, how they're in pairs right above the first floor windows. Now they're placed there by the owners of the building, Smith & Young. So you see those 2 guys are very superstitious, and they placed those ugly faces there to warn off bad business and evil spirits. Now the building opened up 1929. Recall what happened back then? Yeah, the stock market crash, Great Depression. So poor Smith & Young, ironically being stockbrokers, and invested over $3 million in his building, to went bankrupt, lost everything. Due to back taxes, the city picked it up for just a little over $300,000. Wow. Now looking there towards the front of the boat, you see a really big building colored red with a green roof on the top, Beehive Tower. Okay, this building in front of us is the Bexar County Courthouse, built in 1897, very rare in the United States. A building being used for the same purpose for a very long time, in this case a courthouse. So we're making our way down to the flood prevention channel. This is the deepest part of the Riverwalk here. It's 15 feet deep in this flood channel. Construction on this flood channel began in 1926. And that was due to a flood that happened here in 1921. It was a very devastating flood. Now you see the flood waters reached about 8 feet above the street level here in this area. The city leaders are very concerned because there was much loss of life, also property damage. So that's why they started to create this kind of flood channel. Part of that plan was also to pave over the natural part of the river. But there were 2 ladies by the name of Emily Edwards and Rita Maverick Green. They were the founders of the San Antonio Conservation Society since 1924. So they opposed those plans of paving over the river because they were able to see the value of the beauty. They supported Robert Hutman's idea of the Riverwalk, which later became a WPA project to help create jobs during the Great Depression times. So because of the dedication and the determination of these ladies, we have the Riverwalk which you see today, which is also known as the Crown Jewel of Texas. Here on my left-hand side is a passageway from the Riverwalk to the main plaza. It's right in front of the San Fernando Cathedral. Now, the main plaza was built 1731, which does represent the center point to this beautiful city. So the San Antonio River originates about 4 miles north. It comes out from the ground of Denver Town. That's how this river is fed by natural spring. So we're going to be taking a right turn now, going back into the Horseshoe Bend. But first, take a look at this really big cypress tree right here in front of us. Okay, this is the biggest and the oldest cypress on the river. It stands 9 stories high, dates over 200 years. Now, this cypress tree is also known as the Ben Milam tree because legend has it that the Mexican sniper, he would hang out high in the branches to this tree and shoot at the Texans when they'd come and water the horses on the banks of the river. Now, that sniper fatally shot Ben Milam, who was at that time a well-known Texas patriot. So that's why they call it the Ben Milam tree in honor of him. So we're making our way now back into the Horseshoe Bend of the Riverwalk and take a look at the restaurant coming up here on my right-hand side. It's one of my favorites called Bella on the River. And what's unique about this restaurant is the tree growing out of the wall. See that? Yeah, it's a fig tree that's blossoming out. Said that during the time of the flood of 21, there used to be a little sprig on the left side of the river. Due to the forces of the flood, it was uprooted, forced into a crack in the wall right there. It's been growing ever since. No one's decided to cut it down, so there it is. Hey Jake, were you able to bring some extra tacos from the breakfast? There you go. Here to my left-hand side, this building was also built during the time of the flood of 21. Back then it was a city public service building. Later became the Petroleum Commerce in the 1950s, and it has now been renovated into the Drury Inn and Suites Hotel since 1999. All right, now the building that's coming up here on my right-hand side is the Aztec Theater, built in 1926. It has a really nice Aztec Mayan design in the inside as well as the outside. That's where you're going to see that really big Mayan Aztec head above the entrance. So the theater went out of business in the early 80s. So it was vacant for many, many years. They recently restored, renovated this theater, which it just recently reopened a couple of years back. It's now a venue for entertainment purposes. If you've seen the movie Selena starring Jennifer Lopez, I'm pretty sure you recognize this footbridge right here in front of us. Okay, this is where Jennifer Lopez sat at the very top for part of the filming of the movie Selena. So a lot of us boat drivers don't like to call this bridge Selena's Bridge. Now the hotel right here on my left-hand side, it's called the Omni La Mansion Hotel. It has a lot of historical facts behind it because in 1853, it was established as a St. Mary's School for Boys. Now they started off with about 100 students, and a few years ago inside that hotel was originally the law of an lounge. They began to grow, expand, they went co-ed, so that's to relocate. They're now located on the northwest side of town as St. Mary's University, a prestigious law and business school. I'd also like to point out a really cool optic illusion as we pass up the bridge. What you want to do is look high up in the building on my left, and it would appear to be a 24-story wall, freestanding all by itself. Okay, so get your cameras ready. We're going to pass up this bridge, look high up in the building on my left. Come on the wall, flat as it can be. Check it out, look way up there, high top. Wow, it's pretty cool, right? And the building was built at a sharp angle, just like a triangle shape. It gives that illusion right there. It's the next hospital. It opened up 1930. Back then it was the first food service. Fully air-conditioned hospital of its time. Still functions and operates as a hospital to this day. Alright, now the part of the river that we're in right here, it's known as South Bank. It's also considered the nightlife of the Riverwalk. Well, you see there are a lot of bars and clubs that stay open until about 2, 3 in the morning. So for those of you who like the nightlife, this is the place to be right here on the river. Hey, just keep in mind, this is also the part of the river where a lot of people call it. Yeah, especially on the weekend. Fridays, Saturdays. You know what I mean. Now the hotel that's going to be coming up here on my left-hand side is the Hyatt Regency Hotel. It's been around since 1981. Now there's also a shortcut through this hotel to get into the Alamo. So you'd enter into the hotel here to my left, and you'll pass up a series beautiful waterfalls, acequias, and aqueducts. You'll end up on a street right in front of the Alamo. It's a really nice shortcut. You get there super quick from this area of the Riverwalk. Alright, now the video that's going to be coming up here on my right hand side, it's called the Casino Club. Yes, I did say casino, but it was never used for that purpose. Built by the Germans, 1927. They used it as a social club. On top level are apartments of which Alex Haley, the author to the famous book Roots, once resided. Right. Now the part of the river that ran right here, it's known as River Square. This is the area of the river where you can find a whole lot of restaurants, the majority ones of course. And there are just a little over 60 restaurants along the Riverwalk, and that does include the food court that's in the River Center Mall, as well as the restaurants that are part of the hotel. I'm also sure that tonight you're going to notice people eating on the boats. You know you can charter those type of boats. You can even charter a breakfast, lunch, cocktail boat, very simple to do.